My cousin asked me to co-sign on a loan because he had no credit, but I just got served with foreclosure papers and realized he used my name to buy a house, stopped paying, and listed his girlfriend as the owner. I didn't want to believe it at first. I thought maybe it was a mistake. Some paperwork mix-up. Maybe a scam with my name involved by accident. But no. I flipped to the second page of the foreclosure notice. My name. My social. My signature. Except, I never signed anything. At least not for a mortgage. And then it hit me. The small loan my cousin begged me to co-sign 6 months ago. It's just to consolidate some credit cards, he'd said. No big deal. It won't even touch your credit unless I default. He played the whole thing off like it was minor. Guilt-tripped me with stories of how hard things had been after his last breakup. Said he was just trying to rebuild. And I believed him. Because that's what I do. I believe people I love. Even when I shouldn't. He emailed the forms. Said they were for a small private loan. I read through most of it. But I didn't understand all the language. He rushed me. Said the lender had a deadline. So I signed. Digitally. One click. Didn't think twice. Now I couldn't stop thinking about it. Because what I just found in my mailbox wasn't a small loan. It was a foreclosure notice. For a house I didn't know existed. And apparently, I was the buyer. I opened my laptop. Searched the property address. It was a cute craftsman-style house. 2 bedrooms. Big porch. Real estate site said it sold 6 months ago. I clicked the county assessor records. Sure enough. Owner, my full legal name. I felt sick. I dug deeper. Found a public listing from when it was rented. Had interior photos. There was a mirror selfie in one of them. A woman. Wearing a t-shirt I recognized. Because I'd seen her before. On my cousin's Instagram. His friend, Jenna. The one he swore he wasn't dating. I checked her socials. There it was. A TikTok of her baking cookies in the same kitchen. Captioned, Home Sweet Home. Hashtag our house. I couldn't breathe. I messaged my cousin. Call me. Now. No response. I waited. An hour passed. 2. Nothing. I called. Straight to voicemail. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I went to the county records office. Asked to see the full mortgage documents. Had to pay for printed copies. They handed me a thick stack. I sat down in the lobby and flipped through them. Signature, mine. Initials, mine. Except I'd never seen these pages before. Never authorized this kind of loan. The loan amount? $380,000. I felt cold. And then I saw the name of the lender. It wasn't a traditional bank. It was a private equity firm. Known for high-risk loans. The kind of place that didn't care how they got their money back. As long as they got it. And that's when I started to panic. Because this wasn't just identity theft. It was identity sabotage. He'd used me. Not just to get a house. But to hide it. Because on the deed transfer, 3 weeks after the sale, he filed a quitclaim. Transferring ownership. To Jenna Williams. His girlfriend. So I was the buyer. The borrower. The liable party. But the house? Belonged to her. And now that the payments had stopped, they weren't the ones being sued. I was? I sat in my car outside the records office for over an hour. Staring at the folder in my lap. Then I drove straight to my bank. Froze every account. Filed a fraud alert with the credit bureau. Called an attorney. And then, finally, I called my cousin again. This time, he picked up. Hey, sorry I missed your... What the hell did you do? Silence. I don't know what you mean. Oh, you don't? You have no idea why I'd be getting foreclosure papers for a house in my name? Pause. That's complicated. Look. No. No, look. You used me. It's not like that. Jenna needed a place. I couldn't get approved. So you committed mortgage fraud? It's not fraud if you agree to co-sign. You told me it was a credit card loan. Well, that's not exactly wrong. I hung up. And then I called the lawyer back. Because this wasn't just betrayal. It was calculated. It was criminal. And I wasn't about to go down for it. I didn't get angry right away. I got quiet. Because sometimes when you're betrayed at that level, it doesn't register as anger first. It's confusion. Then disbelief. Then shame. I sat on the porch steps with a foreclosure notice in my lap, staring at the line that said I had 30 days to respond. 30 days to fight for a house I didn't even know existed. That night, I didn't call him. I didn't yell. I didn't go online and post about it. I started a Google Doc. Titled it, Legal Timeline. I listed everything I remembered. The day he asked for the cosign. The name of the loan officer. The messages where he promised, I swear it's just paperwork, nothing will ever fall on you. I found my email records. Pulled the signed forms. Compared signatures. One of them looked forged. The interest rate was higher than he claimed. And then I found something else, the ownership record. His girlfriend's name was listed as the sole resident. No mention of me. The next morning, I filed a fraud report with the county clerk. Then I walked into a real estate lawyer's office and showed him the envelope. He read it once. Looked up. Said, "This is bad. But it's not hopeless." I exhaled for the first time in what felt like days. He walked me through it. File a motion to contest the loan. Freeze my credit. Request a forensic review of the loan application. Prepare a civil claim for damages. Then he asked the big one, "Are you ready to go after family?" I paused. Then said, he stopped being family the moment he handed my name over to a bank like it was a spare ID. Over the next week, I became an unofficial detective. I requested bank records. Tracked his payment history. Found that he hadn't paid in 5 months. He and his girlfriend had been living rent-free in a property they never should have owned. Using my name. I showed up at their front door. Not to scream. Not to make a scene. Just to look him in the eye. He opened the door. Grinned. "Hey cuz. What brings you?" I held up the papers. Watched his face shift. "You weren't supposed to see that yet," he mumbled. That told me everything. He knew. He planned this. I said, "You have 7 days to get your things out. Because after that, I'm pushing for full possession." He started to protest. Said I was being dramatic. That I knew he was good for it. I laughed. Then I told him what he didn't know. That I had already filed criminal charges. That I had the forged documents in hand. That the loan officer was under investigation. His girlfriend came to the door. She started yelling. Until I pulled out a second folder. One with her name on it. She read the top page. Went quiet. Because I had included the exact lines from the lease where she claimed to be the sole legal owner. Then I turned and left. No drama. No shouting. Just the sound of two people realizing they were no longer playing chess with a pawn. They had just woken up the queen. The foreclosure process paused after my motion was filed. The court granted a preliminary injunction. The investigation proceeded. And I filed a civil lawsuit. Not just for the loan, but for emotional damages. Credit damage. Lost wages from taking leave. I also wrote a statement to the ethics board where my cousin worked. He was in finance. Emphasis on was. His girlfriend? She got served too. I made sure of it. Because this wasn't just about money. It was about betrayal. The kind that makes you question every shared Thanksgiving. Every hand-me-down. Every memory. But I wasn't going to drown in it. I had climbed out. And now, I was standing on the bank, watching the house of cards collapse behind me. And for the first time in weeks, I finally slept through the night. I didn't expect the legal process to take over my life. But it did. Every day brought a new email. A new form. A new signature request. It felt like trying to climb out of a pit while someone kept throwing dirt in behind me. I stopped going out with friends. Stopped answering calls. My life became court dates and notarized affidavits. Screenshots and spreadsheets. But in all of that, I found a strange sort of clarity. Because when someone sets your life on fire, you stop pretending the smoke isn't real. You learn to fight. I pulled my credit reports. All 3 bureaus. Found 2 more inquiries I didn't recognize. One was for a car loan. The other, another mortgage application. Filed 2 months before the foreclosure notice. With my name. I called the broker. Pretended to be inquiring about my application. He asked for my birth date. I gave it. He paused. "You're not Jenna?" My blood ran cold. "No," I said. "I'm not." He hung up. That night, I sat on the floor of my sister's guest room, staring at my laptop. And I started a second Google Doc, criminal evidence. Because now I wasn't just pursuing civil restitution. Now I was building a case. Wire fraud. Forgery. Identity theft. Conspiracy. And Jenna, she was in it up to her fake designer purse. I found the Shell Venmo accounts. The ones they used to funnel rent payments. From him. To her. To another account that paid off credit cards. All with my name in the billing metadata. It was a tangled web. But I was untangling it. One thread at a time. By month 2, I had a private investigator. an IRS agent assigned to the case. And finally, a restraining order. Because my cousin started showing up outside my workplace, claiming we needed to talk. I never responded. I let the law handle it. The day the IRS froze Jenna's assets, she posted a crying video on TikTok. Said she was being targeted by jealous people. I left a comment, "Tell the IRS that." Then I logged off. I wasn't healing, not yet. But I was no longer bleeding. And when I walked past my cousin's old house, the one that never really belonged to him, I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt nothing. Because he didn't deserve the space. Not in that house. Not in my life. Not in my head. He'd stolen my name. But he didn't get to keep it. The hearing date was set. I circled it 3 times in red ink on my wall calendar. Because this wasn't just a date in court, it was the beginning of my name coming back. My dignity. My credibility. My sense of safety. Leading up to that day, my life turned into a spreadsheet of deadlines and calls. Legal briefings. Identity restoration services. Paperwork upon paperwork. But I never stopped. I'd lost too much to let fatigue or fear stop me now. The lawyer helped me file a secondary civil suit for punitive damages. He called it calculated deception with malicious intent. I called it using your family like an ATM with a forged signature. The more we dug, the worse it got. Turns out, Jenna, the girlfriend, had listed herself as the sole proprietor of a small home business registered under the house's address. Which meant she'd also filed for tax deductions, using a property tied to a mortgage loan she never qualified for. We added tax fraud to the case file. It didn't end there. My cousin had filed a Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, loan application during COVID, also listing that same address, claiming to employ himself and Jenna. They got $22,000. That loan was under investigation now, too. So I sent all this to the Department of Treasury and the Small Business Administration. If they wanted to play with paperwork, I'd show them what real documentation looked like. The day before the hearing, I received an email from Jenna. No subject line. Just, "We didn't mean to hurt you. Please don't ruin our lives over one mistake." I didn't reply. Because it wasn't one mistake. It was 100. 100 choices to lie, to cheat, to sign, to submit, to manipulate. The courtroom was colder than I expected. Fluorescent lights. Metal chairs. Thin carpet. He showed up in a wrinkled suit. She wore a neutral dress and too much perfume. They didn't sit together. I had a folder in my lap thicker than a law textbook. Printed exhibits. Photos. Statements. Affidavits. My lawyer handled most of the talking. But when the judge asked if I had anything to say, I stood up. And I said, I didn't want to be here. I trusted my cousin. I believed I was helping him rebuild. Instead, he used that trust as a blueprint for financial demolition. And I'm the one holding the rubble. This isn't about vengeance. It's about accountability. There was silence. The judge nodded. He asked 2 questions. Was the signature mine? Was there consent for the mortgage? The answer to both was no. Then came the ruling. Fraud confirmed. Civil damages awarded. Immediate removal of the property lien on my name. And then, the house? It was repossessed. Sold off by the lender. I didn't get the money back. But I got my name cleared. I also got a judgment. $74,000 in damages. He'd have to pay in installments. Or face wage garnishment. Jenna tried to file a motion to dismiss her part. It was denied. She was listed as a co-conspirator in a civil fraud case. The fallout was vast. My cousin lost his job. The finance firm he worked for fired him. His name? Now flagged on multiple industry watch lists. Jenna's social media? Gone. Her business license? Revoked. I didn't gloat. Didn't make a post. Didn't tell our extended family. But word got around anyway. Aunt Linda called me, crying. Said she didn't raise him like that. I said, maybe not. But someone did. Then I hung up. It took months to feel normal again. To open my bank app without fear. To open my front door without dread. But healing is quiet. And every day, it grew louder in me. I changed my number. Bought a small condo. Painted it myself. Chose yellow for the front door. Bright. Alive. Nothing hidden. I got a dog. Named her Justice. And every time she barks when the mail arrives, I smile. Because now I know. The worst already came through that door. And I survived it.